How's it, guys? It's Linton here. Happy Friday. So, I haven't put out a video for a couple of days because I've been waiting for today. Pretty much what I expected is what is taking place at the moment. So, today's close is going to be very, very important for us. Are we going to see this double bottom hold? Are we going to see the bulls keep the price above this 50% Fibonacci retracement level, as well as a 30% correction from all time highs? So, this being a very, very important day for us. I want to drop back to the or go to the index itself and not necessarily the futures, and just have a look at what has played out. On the 4th of April, I sent out this analysis, and I said that this third wave over here is on the cards. And as we can see, since then, it's basically just been this bear market. We've had 7 straight down weeks in a row, and statistically, that is unlikely. It doesn't happen very often. So if this level doesn't hold, watch out below. We'll go to at least, in my opinion, 10,500, which would be this 61.8% correction. So if this level breaks, if this double bottom breaks and we see a trade to the downside, I believe it'll get to this 10,500 level and we will see some serious demand at that level, being that the 61.8% retracement level is the biggest one in the market. But let's go back to the index quickly and just have a look at what is telling us that this could have the potential to be the low that has formed. I'm not saying it's the low, it could potentially be a low. And the only way that we would be able to say that this trend has reversed back to a bullish trend is if we get a breakout of this trend line over here and some kind of confirmation with a break to confirm that we are back in an uptrend. Until that point, any rally that we trade, any buys that we put in the market is actually a counter trend trade. So it's risky, guys. Um, but what do I like about the Nasdaq at the moment? I like the fact that we completed a perfect ABC. So this length is exactly the same as that length. So that I find quite positive. The other thing that I find positive is that my momentum indicator and my RSI indicator are both trading very, very low at this point in time. So there isn't a lot of momentum in the market at the moment to the downside, and that's a positive. Although we are seeing these big bearish candles form, and like I say, if today ends up being another bearish week, a red candle, and by the looks of things, that's quite possible. It's been a very, very long time since I've seen 7 red candles on the weekly time frame on the Nasdaq in a row. So statistically being unlikely, but the way things are looking at the moment, that's a very big possibility. So let's just go back to the futures and have a look and see what's going on here and whether or not we can take any positives out of this as to this being a potential low. So the first thing that we can notice, obviously, is the formation of this double bottom on exactly a 50% Fibonacci retracement. Now, this retracement I placed on the high and the low of the COVID swing high and low. So I just want to pull that up so that you can see this fib that I put on. So this was the original COVID move in 2020, and I put my fib uh, on that low up to the most recent high, and we've had a 50% retracement since then. Um, that in itself is it means that we've retraced 50% of this COVID rally as well. So this rally up here, we've come back 50%. Can it go lower? Definitely. But I'm quite happy to hop in a trade here, which I did. If we get a close on a daily or a weekly candle below this level, I will close my buy and I will wait for the price to hit the 61% retracement, and I'll be looking for the upside from there. A bear market's got to end at some point, guys. Whether or not we're going to come all the way back down to here uh, remains to be seen. But I'm definitely going to be trying to get into this market at one of these levels. And the reason for that is because I believe that once we break these highs over here again and the trend resumes to the upside, I don't believe that we will see these prices again. And everyone's going to be saying, man, I wish I'd bought in the 2022 financial crisis. So I'm looking at trying to lock in a really low position. This double bottom here could be a potential bottom pattern. The only way we're going to know whether that's going to hold is, firstly, what I want to see is I want to see a rally above this level. Okay, so I want to get a higher high. Then I want to see the formation of a higher low before the price continues. So that being a higher low than this. If we get that kind of formation, we could very well be seeing a trend change. But it could be an intermediate trend change, like on a lower time frame. So what we could see is we could see price do this. And when it gets to this trend line over here, the all-important trend line, what happens there is going to decide whether we go down to the 61 before we get a move back up, or alternatively, what we could see is a break of that trend line, another smaller confirmation, and a break to the upside, meaning that we are now back in an uptrend on the Nasdaq. With what's going on economically and globally, it is possible, guys, if the Fed tightens further, that we will see this bottom break to the downside and that we will see this 10,500 level. I, however, have locked in a buy at the moment off this double bottom, and I'm going to hold it. If we get a daily or a weekly close below this level, then I will close that buy and I will be waiting for this 61.8, and I will do the same thing there. I will enter my long trade over here. Should we get a close below it, I will enter on the next fib level down, and so on. Hoping that I can get into a really nice low position on the Nasdaq, and if I hold that long continuously without closing it, there will be a really, really nice profit to be made. I'm seeing 18,000 on the Nas as a possible target at some point. The other thing that I want to point out that I find very interesting is the amount of volume that's going into this area at the moment. So this being a very big zone that the bulls and the bears are battling. We could see a three wave and a breakdown. But if we look at volume in these moves, we can see, let's have a look at after this 50% retracement was hit, after that target that I gave on the 4th of April was hit. This first green candle that formed was actually formed on pretty low volume. Although it was a very big bullish candle, the volumes that went into that candle were quite low. Then we saw a much bigger volume come into the market to create the small bear candle that formed after that. So there was a lot more volume traded in that candle than in this big green candle over here. And then we saw the exact same thing take place on that second green candle. And then also, in fact, 2 days ago, this very big red bearish candle that we had happened on really low volume, guys. And in fact, it was lower volume than all the previous days. So that to me was very interesting, that the bear move actually didn't have such a lot of volume trading it, which means that this double bottom that formed yesterday on the high volume candle was the bears that were really fighting to keep the price above this 50% retracement, above the 11,700 mark. So what happens today and the volume that trades today is going to play a big role in understanding whether or not this double bottom will hold. If we see a really high volume day in trading today and the price closes above this 11,700 mark, that means that there are a lot of orders at this level. There's a lot of liquidity. There's a lot of people, institutions, etc., keeping the price above this level. And then I would like to see how next week plays out. Do we get this kind of formation, or are we going to go back down? And I think a lot of that is going to depend on how today closes, firstly, and secondly, how much volume there is traded in today. If it's a really low volume and we keep above this level, that's not going to excite me, and I think that we will possibly see next week break down. If it's not low volume, as I said, and we keep it above this level, that means that I feel that we could be seeing the potential of a low forming in the market. Guys, I hope that helps with your analysis. I know the video was a little bit longer today, but I wanted to dive into more detail. So have a happy trading day, and let's see how the week closes. Cheers.